that you're all very welcome. This is our first in our series of lunchtime webinars offered by the Centre for Adult Learning and Professional Development here at NUI Galway as part of our Adult Learning virtual event. This webinar is providing information about our new degree in early childhood education and professional practice that's offered through the Centre. And we're really looking forward to rolling out this degree in the autumn of 2023. So if you have any questions at all about the program that I don't address during the presentation, or any questions that you would just like to follow up afterwards, there's a really handy email address for you. Early childhood, all small letters, all one word, earlychildhood@nuigalway.ie. So we here at the Centre for Adult Learning, offering a degree in early childhood education and care isn't new. We've been doing this for over a decade, but we have revised our degree, and that's based on a number of sectoral developments that I'm going to talk to you about. And our degree will be offered in the autumn of 2023. So not this coming autumn, but the following autumn. And as I go through the seminar, you're going to see this little under construction sign, and that's just to indicate elements of the program that we're still working on, that will be in place when we roll out the degree, but that I might not have firm responses to questions today, but certainly that email address is very handy. So just to situate what's happening within the Centre, what's happening in the wider early childhood education and care sector, I'm just going to touch on three significant developments that have had an impact on ourselves and will have an impact on your experience of studying at higher education. So the first item to point out is in 2019, the Department of Education set out professional award criteria and guidelines for all degrees in the early childhood sector. And as we had offered a degree for over 10 years, we looked at our degree and we mapped it against the professional award criteria and have redeveloped our degree and renamed it the degree in early childhood education and professional practice. And we submitted that to the Qualifications Advisory Board. This is an aspect of the Department of Education. And so our degree has been approved and has been recognized as meeting the professional award criteria. And why that is important is that in December of 2021, the Department of Children, in collaboration with the Department of Education, launched the workforce development plan for the sector called Nurturing Skills. And that plan is about driving the ambitions of First Five, the all of government strategy for families and young children, about professionalizing the workforce and achieving a graduate-led workforce. So students who complete a degree with us here at NUI Galway will become part of that graduate element of the workforce. And the new criteria and guidelines are assuring that graduates have a certain level of skills, of knowledge, of values that make them suitable for the roles that the workforce plan is going to be rolling out. And so part of that workforce plan is a learner fund that will be offsetting the costs of degrees for people who are in the workforce, people like yourselves, early child educators with a vocational award who want to upskill to a degree. So the Learner Fund will not only be helping students with the cost of their tuition fees, it will be helping employers to release those staff so that they can engage in study, they can engage in placements in other settings so that employers will be compensated, they can replace those people. Educators can leave settings where they need to for extended placements and to engage in their study. And the final piece of our policy puzzle is the funding model, Partnership for Public Good, which was also launched in December of 2021, along with the workforce plan. And you have probably heard about core funding. This term has been quite contentious. A lot of people in favor, a lot of people questioning the fund and how this is going to work. But what's critical for ourselves and for you as an early child educator upskilling is the core funding model will be able to give the state a process by which they can directly impact the pay and working conditions of early childhood educators, particularly graduate educators who they want to hold in the sector, but recognize their professional knowledge and skills through enhanced pay and conditions. So all those things are happening within the sector at the moment and impacting then on your ability to undertake further education and training and our ability to support you in that. So just keep in mind, whether you pursue your degree at NUI Galway, whether you pursue it at another higher institution, is that be sure that the degree you undertake has been recognized by the Qualifications Advisory Board, as ours has. And that means that into the future funding schemes, such as the way the funded preschool scheme now has a higher capitation payment if you have a degree holder leading the program, in the future, when they say a degree holder, they will mean somebody whose degree was recognized by the Qualifications Advisory Board. So that's just important for you to keep in mind yourself. So let me tell you a little bit then about our degree. We offer a 4-year level 8 honors degree that's rolled out at 60 credits a year to accumulate 240 credits in your final award. So in year 1, we welcome applications from people who have practice experience in the early childhood education and care sector, who are employed in the sector, and who we would categorize as adult learners. And that means you're over 21 years of age when you commence your program with us. Now, I would always say to people, we have this criteria, and you might read that criteria and think, I don't fully match that criteria, but we always encourage you to get in touch with us, because how we look at that criteria might vary. So maybe you only have 18 months practice experience, but maybe you've done child minding, or maybe you volunteered in a youth group or in a sports club with young children. So we look at all those kind of experiential criteria and bring that together to help support you to see, if you're suitable to come to the program and if you meet the criteria. So that's our criteria for year 1. Get in touch if you have questions. At the end of year 1, you'll achieve a level 7 certificate in early childhood education and professional practice. We have an expectation that we will also offer year 2 advanced entry in September of 2023 if we have demand for that. And so people who can apply for advanced entry would have a level 6 qualification in early childhood education and care, and to have done well in that qualification. So you'll have a number of distinctions as well as possibly some merits. You'll also have practice experience. You should also be employed and meet that criteria as an adult learner. And when you complete year 2 of the program, you'll achieve a level 7 diploma. We also encourage entry into year 3 of our program, and that would be people who have a level 7 ordinary degree and wish to upskill to an honors degree. And you will complete 2 years with us and you'll achieve your level 8 honors degree. So, and just to keep in mind that those our under construction logos there means that we're currently just applying to the Department of Children to have those exit awards recognized. In our current degree, the level 7 certificate exit award is recognized for minimum employment in the sector. The level 7 diploma is recognized as room leader criteria. And so we're just going through that process. Now, sometimes people need to take time out of the program. If you might complete year 1 or complete year 2, and some maybe personal demands that you might have might mean you need to step back for a year or 2 and then return to us. So it's nice to get those exit awards to recognize the achievement that you've accomplished. But of course, we really encourage you complete year 1 and progress to year 2, complete year 2 and progress onto the degree cycle. And of course, that degree cycle is recognized by the Qualifications Advisory Board. So let me tell you then a little bit about how we organize and structure our degree. So some program specifications. We deliver the program through a blended learning model, and that means that we blend, the clue is in the name there, we blend our online learning environment with on-campus in-person workshop sessions. So a typical module is rolled out over 6 to 8 weeks. And during that time, you'll be meeting your lecturer online, you'll be meeting your peers, you'll be engaging in live sessions, some interactive learning opportunities. You'll also have recorded sessions you can look at. But importantly, you come into campus, and that is typically one Saturday per module. So that works out to about 1 Saturday a month over, 6 months of 6 to 8 months of the academic year. You come in on a Saturday, so we're recognizing that you're in the workforce and you can't take time off from your day-to-day work. But that on campus complements the online learning that you engage in. So the blended learning model, the program is specifically designed for people who are in the existing workforce. So this isn't designed for people who are coming through a CAO route and don't have experience in the sector. We recognize you come to the class and you come to the online sessions with a real wealth of rich experiential knowledge. And, we're building on that. We're working with that. We're learning from you and peers. There's a lot of peer learning and sharing. We would recognize our students as non-traditional learners, and that means that maybe you didn't see university in your future. Maybe you're going to be the first person from your family to pursue studies at university, or the first person in your community, maybe in your work setting. So, we recognize that there can be some ambivalence, maybe a little bit of anxiety or of lack of confidence for some people coming to university, and we're here to work with you and to support you. We've been doing this for 10 years. Lots of people who we would say are non-traditional learners have come through our program and been really successful and turn out to be really academically successful. But importantly, we recognize that our students are juggling many responsibilities. For one, you're juggling work and study. As a minimum, you're doing that. You might have caring responsibilities. You may be a parent. You might be an employer or a manager of a setting. And so we recognize that those are additional burdens that you have, that you're just trying to juggle all of those things. And because of that, our program is flexible. We need to work with you where you are and support you so that you can achieve your goals. The program is relevant to your day-to-day work experiences as an early childhood educator in the sector. So that's a bit about our structure, our organization, how you join the program, how you leave the program. Let me tell you a little bit now about the course content. So I'm not going to go through and read the title of every module there, but just if you look across the slide, you'll see a lot of topics that are probably familiar to you, maybe one or two that are new to you. So, within the early years sector, there's a core body of knowledge and skills and practices that are really important that early child educators develop. And you may come to us with some basic knowledge or some developmental or early knowledge on these topics. But when you move into university, though you're bringing that knowledge with you already, what we would be doing is, developing the depth and breadth of that knowledge. So thinking about the developing child or curriculum or quality or play, you will have been exposed to this in your vocational award, but we're going to look at it in a broader way, and we're going to just delve into it in a deeper way. In years 3 and 4, we're moving a little bit away from direct practice. So years 1 and 2 are really, practice focused, what you're doing day to day in earlier settings. And we're starting to look at things like critical reflection. We're thinking about how we work with families. We're thinking about management and leadership, and we're moving very much into our research cycle. So every year of the program, you might have noticed this on the slides, there is a module called Professional Reflective Practice. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's made up of these 4 components. And I'm going to take you through this important module. So this module is really about connecting your practice to your learning and your learning to your practice. So the 4 elements of this module is your practice placement. So we recognize that the majority of your practice placement or your practicum will be spent in your workplace. So we would engage with your employer, we will identify with you and your employer a mentor within the setting, and we will be coming out to visit you in your work setting. Some of that will be an external placement, and again, we'll collaborate with yourself and your employer to identify the best periods of time for you to leave the setting. And because of our learner fund and because of the funding model, your employer will be supported to release you from time and to replace you with somebody else. So this is all really important in terms of you getting experience in other types of settings with different age groups, with different curriculum approaches and different types of work environments. So that is a core part of the professional reflective practice is your practice placement. And, credit is given for that time, significant credit. You're going to be then applying your learning to practice. And this is done through connecting to the other modules that you're taking in a given year of the program. All of those modules will have a particular assignment that you apply to your your work setting and you reflect on, and this is really helping you to make that bridge between theory and practice, make theory a lived experience. A nice way to engage with connecting that learning to practice is through reflection, and reflection is probably something you're familiar with, and we're going to be supporting that through tutorial sessions where you'll have a small group of peers within the course where you'll develop that idea of a community of practice where you're sharing and learning from each other, and that's going to be guided by a dedicated tutor. You'll also keep your own reflective journal while you're engaged with that reflection on your learning, on your practice, and interrogating what's happening there. And the final element of this module is the whole area of professional inquiry or research. So we all know that the early childhood sector is very much research informed. We're learning all the time about how children learn and develop and what's the best approaches to practice. So being able to understand research is an important element of being a professional early childhood educator. So that area of research literacy is key, but also becoming a researcher yourself and engaging with research is a really important way of interrogating your practice and improving the setting that you're in. So all of this research will very much be geared towards a participatory approach where you're engaging with a range of actors within your setting, within your community, from parents to peers to engaging in research with children. And we'll be developing that over 4 years towards a final research dissertation. So in terms of how that rolls out, the professional reflective practice module will run throughout the academic year, but all the other modules will roll out sequentially. So you'll start in September with one module, you'll engage with it over 6 or 8 weeks, depending on the credit value of the module. As that module is kind of fading out, you'll be starting up the next module. So you're never at any point in time managing, 5 or 6 modules at one time. At most, 1, 2, or 1 is fading and the second one is fading out while the third one is starting up. So this is one way of kind of looking at how it would roll out over the year. But I think this image here really helps you get a sense of how the professional reflective practice module is interwoven during the year between and amongst those other modules that you will be exploring. So this is an example of what year 2 would look like. So modules rolling out sequentially, as one's wrapping up, another is starting, but you're always connecting it back to your practice. So across the course, let me just tell you a little bit more about the course. We have a wide range of assessments, and that's allowing you to develop a whole range of what we would describe as graduate attributes or a variety of professional skills. So it's unlikely we'll have any written exams in our course, but we would rather be looking at assignments that allow you to really demonstrate that practice knowledge that are relevant to your professional setting. So we'd be looking at things like developing portfolios, creating learning stories, maybe doing video assignments where, say, you walk around your outdoor play area, and you highlight the developmental opportunities and talk about risks and hazards. So those are the kind of assessments we'll be developing, or we are developing, to make them very much applied, relevant, and achievable for you. While we have, of course, set due dates for assignments and modules, we are working with you in a flexible way and recognizing the challenges and all those responsibilities that I talked about. So where somebody is struggling and has other challenges that are more pressing, we can work with you around flexible due dates. As I said earlier, we recognize our students are often non-traditional learners, and so there is a range of scholarly supports both within the program and across the university. For example, there's an academic writing center that our students often engage with to get support around how to write an essay, how to reference properly in that essay, how do I look up good academic material to base my essay on. So those are the kind of supports both within the unit, the Center for Adult Learning, the course, and the university itself. Although there is the funding model that is going to be coming on stream in the next short while, there are a number of other funding schemes within the university, and if you're interested in those, you can inquire about that through our dedicated email address. And as I said, we will not be offering this program this coming September, but we'll be offering it from September of 2023, a year 1 entry. We're expecting to have a year 2 entry based on demand, and so if you would like to be on our mailing list, or if you have any questions, you can use this very handy email address to be sure that you're notified when applications open in 2023. So I would just like to highlight that, you've come here today because you're probably, curious about pursuing your graduate award, your degree award, possibly, I'm assuming, working as an early childhood educator and looking to upskill. So if your goal, that's your goal, to become a graduate early childhood educator, and our aim then is support you to reach that goal. And we do that in recognition that adult learners are a unique student. You're not like an undergraduate CAO student who doesn't have the responsibilities that you carry. And so we work with you in a flexible way to support you to reach those goals. So in terms of reaching those goals, let's talk a little bit about where our graduates have gone on to. So over the 10 years that we've been offering our degree, we've been, in touch with graduates, and we did a survey of them recently to find out where they are and where they're taking their qualification. So we know a large number have moved into support and development roles within the Irish early childhood education and care sector, doing work at childcare committees, working with AIM and Better Start as mentors, working in area-based childcare programs. We also know a number have gone into teaching roles, whether it's with the LINK training, at vocational level 5 and 6 training with the ETBs. There's a number who are working in the institutes of technology that are now becoming the technological universities. And we've had a few graduates over the years who have come back and have taught within our own program. We also know that a number of our graduates have moved on to the inspectorate roles with both TUSLA and with the Department of Education. So keep in mind that a lot of these roles are looking for a level 8 honors degree. So, there's often, you can do a level 7 ordinary degree or a level 8 honors degree. It's really important for you to think about what is your pathway, where are you heading, and where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 or 15 years? And if it's a role type of such as this, a level 8 honors degree is really important to open those doorways for you. I've got those flags down below because we also know a number of our graduates have moved to other countries and have had their degrees recognized. So they could be in other countries than these, but these are the ones we know about, that our graduates have moved to Australia and New Zealand, where their qualifications have been recognized as early childhood educators. We know we have had students in China and Romania over the past who are working in international English language schools as their kindergarten teachers, and a couple of graduates who went to the UK after completing their degree and are now working in the primary school system as kindergarten teachers in the UK. But what's really important, and what, all those policy documents I talked about at the beginning, and certainly framed by First Five, our strategy for children, young children, babies, and families, is that the need to hold graduates within the sector, the need for graduates. While these jobs are really interesting and exciting, if we can get the pay and conditions correct, then we'll have graduates staying in early childhood education and care, working directly with children and families. I'm assuming you're doing this work now, or you're interested in this work because you're passionate about working with children and families. And if we can get the pay and conditions correct, that means you will hopefully stay in the sector. Part of the workforce development plan are some really interesting graduate roles that are being proposed to roll out over the next little while, and that these will be recognized by enhanced pay and condition. So roles such as pedagogical leader, family and community liaison, enhancing the inclusion coordinator now to be a graduate role that includes diversity and inclusion, and a role which is about working as a student mentor and also being a mentor to new employees moving into the profession and into the setting. So that's really exciting that these roles are coming on stream, all tied into those couple of different policy strategies that I talked about. So I'm coming towards the end of the formal part of the webinar. You may be happy to know. But I just want to talk a little bit about the philosophy that underpins the work that we do here in our early childhood programs at NUI Galway. These are reflected in a lot of national policies. It's reflected in the literature and in research, and we draw on these ideas to really inform the work we do in terms of engaging with students, the work we're doing right now in developing the modules, and hopefully will influence how you move from NUI Galway into your role as a graduate leader. So, kind of reflecting what Asher says about the child as a competent and confident learner. And that's reflecting that sociological understanding of the child as being an active agent in their world with their own unique story. The child who has agency is a catalyst in their own learning. And we see that that child's nested within the social ecology of the family, the community, and society. So that means the child doesn't come into our settings untouched by what's going on around them. They bring in those lovely funds of knowledge that we've learned about through the Diversity and Equality Charter and guidelines, reflecting their family culture and their background, but they're also part of the wider community, and they're impacted for good or for ill with what's going on in society at a given time. We recognize that the parents and the family are the primary caregivers and the first teachers of their children, and we encourage our early childhood educator students to work in a strength-based approach to working with families so that you can develop partnerships that are based on respect, on recognizing parents are the experts of their child, but the goal is to work in a positive reciprocal partnership with the family and with parents. Well, we understand that high quality early childhood education and care supports children to have enhanced outcomes in school and in their lives. And once they leave our early childhood settings, it's really important to recognize that childhood is an important place in and of itself, that we see the child as the being, not just becoming, and that we celebrate that their childhoods. And finally, underpinning all of that is respecting children as rights holders. Our Constitution respects children as rights holders, and we do as well in the program, and we expect and assume that early childhood educators also recognize children as rights holders. So that brings me to the end of the seminar, or the webinar, the formal part. I'm going to finish off here now, and we're going to take questions and answers, but just to remind you of ways to contact us at the program. So the early childhood at NUI Galway is at the bottom there. My email address, sheila.garrity@nuigalway.ie. And Valerie Kelly is our program administrator. She's the all-knowing, all-seeing Valerie Kelly who can answer any of your questions. So valerie.kelly@NUI Galway. And just to say thank you very much for joining us today. And I'm happy to stay on now for another half hour and take your questions.